Leaving Thorong and reaching High Camp was a tremendous feat for us. First, up the extremely steep gradient over a gravelly and slippery slope until you were breathtakingly eye to eye with the magnificent mountains. And then you make a turn, turning sharp right to High Camp. The climb was approximately from 14,900 feet to almost 16,000 feet. The slope was harsh, and all the days of hiking, of steady plodding, without rush, had given us the strength to come here, happy and healthy. The room was clean, with lumpy mattresses that were so heavy one could barely turn. Outside, the fog started rolling in. A mist, actually. We were given candles and matches in case we needed to venture out or see anything at night. But hopefully, there would be electricity because the bathrooms were in the central courtyard. We were to leave at 3 in the morning with hot potato roasties packed. It was dark when we left and drizzling. The focus was only putting one foot in front of the other. Sometimes I stepped into the indentation left by Govinda the guide's foot because this was the only way of finding my path. We came to what was a tea shop further up. It was abandoned, but the only shelter from the rain and the cold. We took a break, hands shaking. We could not tarry long, just enough time to catch our breath. I remember shivering till my teeth were almost chattering because I had become wet. Arvind, with great presence of mind, put me inside the bicycle parka and shoved chocolate in my mouth. Soon I too was ready to go. We started down the desolate path, one at a time. I could still feel the dampness inside, and the fingers were turning numb. I retracted my fingers into my glove to keep them warm. The mountain looked like a brown chocolate cake with a dusting of icing sugar. The sun was nowhere to be seen, and I prayed and prayed and prayed, hoping it would emerge. We kept going upstream along the icy waterfall that we had seen before. We crossed the waterfall on a metal bridge. Across the short bridge and uphill in the drizzle again, the water dripped from my parka hood, and icy needle like pricks stung the face when we turned into the wind. Everybody was cold. We took breaks, and when we took breaks, we paused to look around us and take in this grandeur. But in reality, how much can you take in when you're quite exhausted? Even the guides needed breaks. They had a great attitude, and we plodded along, further and further up the zigzag, into the icy mists that hugged the higher altitudes. We had brought 2 poles each, but Maitreya was chivalrous and carried our extra poles for us, looking quite the warrior. Altitude plays strange tricks on one's mind and body. For some people, they just want to curl up and fall asleep. Other people face their worst fears as the mind conjures up all kinds of nasty thoughts and bring terrible emotions to the fore. For me, thankfully, there was repeated prayer reinforcing hope. One step at a time, one foot forward. You cannot go back 14 days. The vastness up here is astounding. Layers and layers and layers and layers of mountain and higher mountains, glaciers and snow. One could see, hear, and feel one's breath as one panted against the stiff wind. This was numbing, arduous, muscle challenging, and yet ethereally beautiful. Ground leveled off almost as though to say, see, it's really easy, it can be done. And the next bend upwards, as one faces the stiff wind and the icy rain, the hardship creeps in. Arvind was ahead of me, pausing when he did. We gasped and caught our breath at the same pace, keeping a steady gap between us. He would look back frequently to make sure I was okay, and I would signal, yes. Bharat was with my mother, so there was no worry there. He would take care of her, even if she could not be seen. Frost clung to the rocks on either side, and tiny flowers clung to the freezing ground, defying the chill. The drizzle baited, and there the prayer flags fluttered. Thorong la, finally, the pass, 17,770 feet. We had made it to the top. What a fantastic moment that was! Breathing was hard, but the exhilaration was high. The porters had unloaded their loads by an abandoned shack and were rubbing their hands, waiting for us. Standing around, it was cold and our legs were getting stiff. We snacked on nuts and dried fruit. We wanted to wait for my mother so that we could all take photographs together. In the meantime, we took combinations of photographs by ourselves. Breathing was difficult. Chest hurt sometimes, and just as we thought we couldn't wait longer, there she was. She made it to the top too. So we all stood around with great excitement and took photographs. We had woken at 3:30, left at 4:30ish, and it was only 9:15 in the morning. There was a sense of triumph in knowing that we had made it up there in average time. We were no slower nor faster than any other group. We encouraged our porters to stand and took a photograph of them. And then they wanted a photograph with us. So you could imagine, in that high altitude, panting for breath, I balanced the camera on some rocks, pressed the self timer. Run, 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 it's blinking, the porter shouted with great excitement in Hindi and Nepali. I laughed to myself. Run? At that altitude? You've got to be kidding. We were actually supposed to eat lunch here, but the wind, the cold, and the difficult breathing made us decide to walk one more hour before lunch. As we were ready to go, we all felt an exhilaration and burst out. Jai Bhole, Jai Shankar, Jai Saraswati, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Mahadeva, and Bharat added, Thorong La Ki, Jai, we all shouted. Why not? Thanks for watching this What is India production. Give us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.